Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Beach FM, well, he flew to Dunedin yesterday unexpectedly and as a surprise for the show that he's been directing, and that's our Ralph McCallister. Morning, Ralph, and welcome back.
Well, it was a pretty rushed job, Nigel, but I don't know whether I said to you, but I didn't tell anybody except the kind friend who drove me in to Wellington at 5:30 in the morning, and you know, he went on to work and I got a bus out to the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning and then turned up in Dunedin to a beautiful, glorious day, just like it has been in Wellington. And I'd forgotten, I hadn't been down there for a while, but I'd forgotten how so friendly the people are down there. Yes. And it was just great. And of course, it's when I walked in late morning or early afternoon to the rehearsal place in the Octagon, the Athenaeum Theatre, it brought back many memories for me because it was the old space that the Fortune Theatre used to perform in before the group went defunct. And I got screams from the three people involved most deeply, Jan, Mona, and their technician Neil.
Yes.
And they just were just so thrilled to see me. And of course, it was just the right thing to do because it was their opening night and they were nervous and there were hitches, not with what they were doing, but with technical stuff, which I won't go into. And so I was just able to sort of offer a calming influence, support them. And then again, they went off and performed and they got a standing ovation last night, which was great, you know. So I was very excited for them. It's a show, I think I've told you, about two women, Jan Bolwell, who was born in Dunedin, and her story of why she became a dancer. And of course, she started learning in Dunedin. So a lot of people in the audience were former teachers or colleagues or friends. So that was her growing up and going off and having, you know, a great time in England and having terrible experiences with bombings in Birmingham in the 70s, and then coming back and starting to be an actor and theatre director and so on. Contrast that with Mona Williams, who's Guyanan and has lived most of her life now in New Zealand, and she's a very well-known storyteller, and why she became a dancer. So you've got these two stories with Mona being brought up and risking everything to get food for her family, poverty-stricken family there, prejudice, finally getting a Fulbright to America. You know, the contrast, and of course they both finished up. One, Jan, taught initially at Dunedin Teachers College and then at Wellington Teachers College, and Mona taught at mostly at Palmerston North Teachers College, apart from telling her stories all over the world. So it's a dynamic sort of duo, and that's what made me feel I can't say no to this. So I added in my bits, or deleted them really, you know, being dramaturg, looking at the script and then putting it all together. And as I say, I think it's going to travel. I think it's got legs. I think it's going to be hugely successful, and not just with older people. There were quite a few younger people there last night or whatever, and they just kept thinking, oh, I must go and find out more about this person or this person. So I did sleep rather well last night, I might tell you. I was just so totally whacked, I think the word is, when I got home. But I was really pleased I went.
So it's only about an hour, this show, is it?
It's precisely precisely an hour, and
Right.
of course that's about the best length, I think, for most things in theatre these days. I was invited to a show the other night where it's 3.25 hours long, and I thought, well, if it takes you all that time to say what you want to say, I think you can say it without me. I haven't got that sort of time span. The show's an hour long. It moves at quite a wonderful speed. It's not remotely boring, and Carpety will have a chance to see it, of course, because we want to perform it up here. Initially, we're just getting through this week, and we've already been invited back to different places, and I'm really excited for the two women and Neil, their technician. It's been a journey for all of us, and a very successful one.
You'll be contacting them today, I suppose, Ralph, just to see how they feel after the first show.
They've already been in touch with me.
Right, okay. I'm a bit behind the 8 ball. Never mind, Ralph. Hey, thanks for that. And we do hope, because Jan Bolwell, for those people who don't know, is a Paikakarikian these days. And Ralph, of course, is Paikakarikian.
Yes.
So it's great to be able to go down and teach the Dunedins. I won't say the Duneast, because that's what they call themselves, don't they, down there? Or don't like to be called. I'm not sure which. But they'd be very impressed with the local content from a small place like Paikakariki.
I think so. And, of course, we usually punch above our weight, don't we, here?
Absolutely, Ralph. Yep. Well, I suppose you didn't fly out of Kapiti with Air New Zealand to go down there, so you got back safely.
I'm as depressed as everybody else about that news, Nigel, so I'm sure you've been covering it all the time, but I think I'll be one of the last flights up from Kapiti, because I'm going up to Waiheke later this month, and I think I go 2 days before the Air New Zealand withdraws its services.
Right. Well, I just read a story about Waiheke today. You might not have caught up with it. People are objecting to people being nude on the beaches up there. So you might just need to take something with you. I'm not sure, like a Speedos or a dressing gown.
Listen, the place that my kind friends offer me each year looks straight down on the beach that you're talking about. It's been there for years. Part of the beach is nude. Yes. The other part is for people like me whose bodies are not the prettiest sights even when they're clothed. So,
all right, Ralph. I just thought I'd let you know. Thanks for your time this morning. We'll have a chat next Tuesday if you're around.
Well, look, I would be very delighted, because I've got several books I'm going to read today, tomorrow, and over the weekend.
Thanks, Ralph. Have a nice weekend too, won't you?
Thank you very much.
Ralph McCallister.
106.3 Beach FM.